All right, so for these type of papers, we're going to be doing a lot of these from now on. Today we're doing a front and a back. Tomorrow there'll be one of these on the back of the sheet, and then the day after there'll be another one. Once we start doing star review, we're also going to do these. So I'm going to show you how to do them, and then after a while they'll just be really easy for you to do. It says, place a check mark next to the statement that is true. So anything that is true, we're going to put a check. Okay? And put an X next to the statement that is false. So anytime you see something that's not true, we're going to put an X right here in the boxes. I'm only going to do 4 of them with you. You're going to finish the other 4 on here, and then you're going to do the back page. Before we can answer any of these questions, okay, you got to look at the table. It says the table represents some points on a graph of a linear function. So I know that it's going to be a linear function. I also know that they only gave me a table. So what do we do with tables? You put them in stat. So let's write that down. Tables go in stat. Now, before we put it in stat, I need to change this to a vertical table because this is horizontal right now. So I'm just going to draw it right here on the side so it's easier. The x's go first, so it's going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then on the y's, it's 20, 15, 10, 5, and 0. And we're going to put that in stat. So I need you to pause the video. I'm going to give you a few minutes to put that in stat. Get the equation and put the equation in y equals. So go ahead and press pause. Okay, so you should have had time to put that in stat and got the equation. I'm going to go ahead and do it just in case you didn't know how to do it. So in stat, enter. Okay, if you have stuff already on there, you can just type over it. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. On the other side, I have 20, 15, 10, 5, and 0. Oh, what did I do? I didn't type over them. 20, 15, 10, 5, 0, and anything extra you delete. Okay, so that's what you should have put on there. That looks just like my table right here. So then we do stat, arrow over to calc. Do I do 4 or 5? 5, because it's more than 2 points. You see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. I can do stat calc 5. So press the number 5, enter. And it gives you the equation, and this is how you can tell that it's a linear, because the a is 0. So that means if I put a 0 here, the 0 cancels the x squared. So I don't have an x squared anymore. This is a linear equation. So let's write that down. The equation is y equals -5x plus 10. Write it on your paper. Y equals -5x plus 10. Let's put this in the calculator and go to trace. So y equals trace. -5x plus 10, trace. Okay, so that's what the graph looks like, and that's what we need to answer these questions. We can also go to second graph and look at the table and see that it does go at -2 gives you 20, 15, 10, 5, 0. So let's go answer some of those questions and see if it's true or false. Problem number 1 says that the x-intercept is at 0, 10. Let's go look for the x-intercept on that graph. Is it at 0, 10? Hit trace. Where is the x-intercept at? At 2. Look right here. It's right here. This is the x-intercept. This up here, 0, 10, is the y-intercept up here at the top. That's the y-intercept, not the x-intercept. So even though the point was right, they didn't say it right. Okay, this is the x-intercept and it's at 2, 0. So that's a false statement. So what do? You're going to put an X saying that it's false. And anytime it's false, you have to justify. You have to tell me why is it false. So, I mean, there's lots of things we could have said. You could say that 0, 10 is the y-intercept. Okay? You can also say that the x-intercept is at 2, 0. Okay? Those are things that you can say to justify that this is false. Got it? And you don't have to name them all. Just pick 1 or 2. All right. Problem number 2. The function has a positive slope. Okay, what was my equation? My equation was y equals negative 5x plus 10. Is that a positive slope or a negative slope? It's a negative slope. So this is false because my slope is a negative 5. Okay, it's right here in my equation. The slope is negative, so there's no way it could be positive. Also, you can look at it on the graph and tell that it's coming down. That's a negative slope. Okay, so any of those would work. Problem number 3. The function could be represented by the equation y minus 5 equals negative 5 parentheses x minus 1 close parentheses. This equation looks really weird, okay? But I don't want you to get discouraged from it. Can I graph this the way it looks right now? No, it's not in y equals. So what do I have to do? Move something over. What is it that I need to move over? The negative 5. So I need you to circle this negative 5. I'm going to move it over here and change the sign. So what does it become? It becomes a plus 5. Okay, and then you're going to cancel it because it's gone. So now you have y equals negative 5, parentheses, x minus 1, close parentheses, plus 5. And I can put that in y equals. Okay? So we're going to go to our calculator and we're going to type that in. I'm going to erase some things. So let's go put that equation in y equals. Y equals, erase the one that you put on there, and go put the new one, which is negative 5, parentheses, x minus 1, close parentheses, plus 5. And what are you going to go look at? You can look at trace, okay, and see if that's what the line looked like before, yes or no. Or you can look at second graph and make sure, that the table matches your table. So negative 2 gives you 20, negative 1 gives you 15, 0 gives you 10, 1 gives you 5, 2 gives you 0. Is it the same equation? Yes. So that's a true statement, and we put a check. Okay? We're going to do the same exact thing with number 4. So is number 4 ready for me to graph? No. What do I need to move? The negative 15. What does it become? It becomes a plus 15. Okay, so rewrite it. That's y equals 5 parentheses, x plus 1, close parentheses, plus 15. Put that in y equals, hit trace or second graph, and see if it looks the same or not. Go ahead. Okay, trace. Is that what my line looked like earlier? No, that is not what the graph looked like. Second graph. Does this match my table that I started with? No. So that's a false statement. How are we gonna justify it? So I'm gonna put an X, but how am I gonna justify? What can I say over here that says that that's not true? The table doesn't match up. What else can I say? The slope is positive. Did y'all notice? Look right here. This slope is positive. When you multiply 5 times x, it gives you 5x. Over here, the slope was negative. And on the graph, you can tell also that the slope is positive, not negative. So the graph does not match up. The slope does not match up. The table does not match up. Write any of those down. Table doesn't match. Graph doesn't match. Slope is positive. Okay, you don't have to name all of them. You just pick one. So now do you know how to do the rest of the paper? Yes, I need you to finish the front and then start on the back. Don't forget to get the equation first of the table and then put it in y equals and trace and look at what they gave you.